Didn't you just like flawlessly bounce out of demand there? Oh my gosh, it did. It's flawless. Look at this. It's flawless to the penny. To the penny. Indicator's a scam. Don't buy it. It's a paid actor. A paid price action to promote the indicator. All right. So we just had a glorious demand bounce. Longs would not be bad on that candle. It's not high enough probability for me to take it. Um, ES did sweep a lower low. I mean, this is still a bear pin on ES. That's kind of the issue. But longs on NQ are not bad. Like, they are not bad at all for the high of that buying wick to happen. Um, yeah, that's not a bad trade at all. It's kind of late for me to enter, so I will not be taking it. But your PT would be the high of that selling wick. I mean, I'll fill out my journal real quick. All right, I'll read chat. How'd everyone do this morning? It was a freaking great morning. Time for it to be less great with the second hour of market open. Knock on wood. Uh, it looks like pretty much most of you guys are green. And yeah, Rara, check my DMs later. Chimkin, it's typically the bigger the move is, the more likely it is to reject the 61.8. The smaller the move, the less likely. And it really just depends, Chimkin. Depends on how it's moving up. There's no way to know, right? That's kind of the issue. So a lot of times I wait until the 61.8 breaks. But as a lot of you know, yesterday, red day during the second hour of market open. Decided to continue trading the third hour. Not only made my losses back, but doubled my losses. And then I traded FOMC. And what I was red by, I ended up being up by more than triple by. So it might be the second hour is just cursed, or there's like these live streams are cursed. I think it's just the second hour. Bear pen is playing out. Wasn't a bad trade. In my experience though, if it touches demand by like it just barely touches demand, it doesn't go inside of it, those reversals are less likely to hold. But a big issue for me was ES had a bear pennant going on, and NQ's been weaker than ES. So, but now if we sweep the low and then come back up, I'll enter longs. This is a trade I'll take. And God forbid if we start chopping down like this for an hour straight, I'm gonna lose a bunch of money. ES missed low of day. You can enter longs if it comes back up here. During the second hour, statistically, though, I've taken these trades and less than 50 over the last week and a half, less than 50% of them have played out. Now, of course, I do think the one time I don't take it, it's probably going to play out. It's just bound to happen. But that this is a trade that I'm no longer taking right here during the second hour of price action. No longer taking these trades right here. If it's still compressing, betting on a break after it missed a sweep. Even though I'm leaning bullish, it's just statistically it's not there anymore during this hour. Uh, Updates on the mentorship for this year? Not yet. Mentorship will likely start at the end of February. It'll be a 10-month deal. You know, looking back on it, shorts here is a trade that I can enter, but with ES being stronger than NQ and it sweeping this low and NQ being in demand, that's a bit too risky. I'd much rather look at the volume spike on that. I'd much rather enter longs if we come back up. Way better trade in my opinion. All right, but now that last big candle was the last candle of the first hour of price action. Now we have entered the second hour. So let the curse begin. And I do not have any more pivots near. I mean, this demand break is an okay pivot. I'll actually mark this one out. NQ can totally continue there. What a day. So volatile. What's driving the market? We had GDP in the morning. Um, U.S. pending home sales plunged in December. I don't feel like that's new news. Yeah, I don't know. NQ barely missed that pivot. FOMC was fun. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I actually end up live streaming FOMC in Discord because my schedule got messed up. So instead of watching a lesson together, I'm like, all right, we'll just hang out in FOMC. So I was live trading for FOMC and we kind of kicked ass in FOMC. It was one of the easiest FOMCs we've had in at least the last few months. It was really good. This is a potential reversal trade. Candle closed with a little bit too big of a selling wick. You can enter longs on that candle. It is a reversal candle. I think less trades is better during this time of day. So I don't want to be as trigger happy with trading. But that's a reversal candle with okay volume on a pivot in demand. You know, looking back on that, that's a really good excuse to enter longs. For me, though, there's my trade here. So if we get all the way up here, I am okay with that. But also, even though it kind of lines up, that's a solid reversal candle. It's hard to say that it's going to hold the reversal. And that's what I would need it to do to take a reversal trade. And the reason why is look how big the red candles are. That's a really, really, really strong downtrend. Now, if it were chopping down and then it got that reversal candle, that would be good. Because I already saw that the downtrend was weakening before it finally got that massive reversal signal. I didn't really see the downtrend weaken at all before it got that reversal signal. So the only thing that indicates a weakening downtrend is this red candle that's a lot smaller but only has slightly less volume. This is a trade I want to enter on ES. ES stronger than NQ, so if we invalidate that whole red candle, I'm in. Now, these are trades that have not been working in the second hour, but they work any other time I trade, so I gotta take it. Good morning, Patel. We called that reversal candle beautifully. I'm really liking the selling wicks NQ's putting in. You see a lot of short stepping in early into this bounce. Uh, that's an indication of a short squeeze, which means this run can have the fuel to continue. But ES is a lot stronger. I'm probably going to end up having to get into this long trade. I'm hoping it drops hard before I get in. I want to see this trend tested because if it just goes right up, I'm gonna have to get in. But then the trend isn't tested, and there's a chance that it could just turn around right after I enter. It's a nice reversal trade though. Let me write that in my notes. Because that very well could have been a trade I'd take. All right, I will be hopping in ES longs. Hopefully this candle doesn't grow too much and screw up my average. Now, during the second hour, after these big candles, it's been likely that it puts in a red candle right after, but I'm still very much so confirmed in. Oh, I actually filled right at my... Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's the trade. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I wish that I entered the reversal trade there, but at least I called it out. I feel like some of you guys entered it. It was a good reversal trade. I think I'm just a little bit more hesitant to just jump into a bunch of trades um, during the second hour. Because remember, 2 days ago, I ran out of trades. Like 6 trades my limit. And right after my 6 trade swept stop loss, it finally ran. So there's the red candle that I predicted would happen. It's like clockwork. During the second hour, especially, if you get a big green candle, expect there to be a red, either huge reversal candle or just consolidation. But it's like, I can't not get in there because if it continues going, I lose the entire trade. Not liking this candle much. There's too much selling pressure on this candle. Looks like it's going to go down more. And then I'll remove this. What do we say? Is this a 4? Yeah, I'd say maybe it's a 4 out of 5 TA. Yeah, that's a solid 4. I do like that ES is still stronger than NQ. I don't like that NQ just made that higher high with a selling wick. Indicates it still wants to pull back. And then we do have this left shoulder here. So I think if we do get up here without pulling back, we're probably going to pull back before I hit PT. It's a very nice candle close on NQ. Still thinking NQ may want. There's a lot of shorts playing NQ. I still think NQ is probably gonna sweep this low at some point, but ES is remaining strong, and this candle flipping green, buyers are buying into the move up. Every single dip is being bought. Looks really good. And like I told you guys, I really liked these selling wicks. Right after the bounce, shorts kept entering, pushing it down, which of course that indicates that shorts are still getting in. It could drop more, but if it doesn't and they invalidate, those shorts need to get squeezed out, which is fuel for the fire. And my PT is pretty close, to be honest. You can move your PT way further away. Um, I may move my PT further away if we put in the very fractal inverse head and shoulders. But the reason I say it's too close is because by the time ES is here, NQ is probably going to be here, and I'm going to be bullish for NQ to get to here. So probably not going to move it further away, though. It's already pretty far. I am able to move my stop up a little bit, though. Supply and demand. I'm telling you guys, my indicator is the greatest indicator ever. You don't see me go a single day without using it. It's kind of painful though, because we did call the bottom. Like right when that reversal candle happened, I said, that is an awesome reversal candle. I did put it in my notes that I did miss that reversal trade. Like I willingly missed that trade. I put an X by it. So I have the stats for that. But that's a nice reversal setup. I think my psych is just a bit deteriorated because the last 3 days straight during the second hour, I just kept getting triggered into trades, whether that's reversal trades or whatever, and most of them lost. So now naturally I'm more skittish to get into trades that weren't setting up for at least 10 minutes, which would be a reversal trade. Those just come and go, right? So I think I'm just naturally a little bit more skittish at the moment, which made it easier for me to not enter that trade. All right, here's a pullback. Let's see if we get a pullback or a reversal. That's too big of a red candle for my taste. Looks like ES is actually flipping weak. But here's what I drew. Where did I draw it? Yeah. This is what I drew. Yeah, I think I drew it again here. Yeah, I don't know. But I called it. It's pretty obvious that it's likely to pull back. Whenever you got a left shoulder like that, it's probably going to pull back. We need it to invalidate, though. Here's a neckline for this inverse head and shoulders. I'm just going to hang out on my phone because I'm pretty far away from stop loss and PT. So I'm just going to hang out on my phone until something interesting happens. Captain TJ asks, Bryce, Apex has a new 1 day to pass cheap accounts and activation sale. Do you know if I can go short on one account and long on the other and get pass? You absolutely can. You absolutely can. And it works, but it's less than 50% of your accounts will pass. You're going to be looking, because you got to remember the trailing drawdown, right? So if I enter a long one and short one and it goes up, okay, the short one's going to blow. And if it pulls back and continues going up, well, that's going to trip your trailing stop. So it works, but the trailing stop drops the odds of that to make less than 50% of your accounts pass. So ideally, you're going to want to go full leverage before a very explosive candle. How do you know when a candle is going to be explosive? Uh, Max leverage 10 seconds before the market opens. And there you go. Or market close. Or FOMC or something. Otherwise, because that's pretty much the only way where you can nearly guarantee that the candle is going to be plenty big enough to pass one of them. And you're just going to have to, honestly, I would have two tabs open, like two Safari tabs if you're on Mac, or two Google tabs if you're on something else, and have Trade Evade open. And on each tab, have the account that's long and the account that's short, so you can sell the winner first. Because if you can't do that, then you're gonna have to try to scroll to the winner and it can wick back down or whatever. Something crazy could happen. So, yeah. I like the way it's chopping down at the moment. NQ's not like NQ looks okay. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look very good. Like it looks like it has potential, but there's been no green candles during this entire pullback. There's a green candle. Chances that this head and shoulders plays out, honestly, my second hour pessimism says no. Looks like NQ wants to go to demand. And this right shoulder is already a bit too big, so if we don't go up like right now within the next 1 minute, if we do go up, it's not going to be because the inverse head and shoulders. Very, very nice close on that last NQ candle. Let's see if it means anything. Kind of looks like he is trying to flip weak. Looks like NQ had a lot more shorts attack that drop, which means more are going to squeeze out. Yeah, ES weakness is bugging me. It should be higher right now. That's a clean cut inverse head and shoulders on NQ. Like that is textbook right there. Second second hour though, it's not been good for patterns. ES is way too weak. ES should be like up here. Yeah, NQ already invalidated this red candle. That's annoying. Hurts the odds of this trade playing out. If you want a closer PT, this is a pretty good one. You can go to this one as well. I'm just gonna keep my PT where it's at. Unless ES flips horrendously weak and NQ already sweeps this one, then I'll take the nearer one. But right now, this weakness on ES does not look good at all. These are bad selling wicks. Does it look like it? ES is going to go back down. I'm going to hang out on my phone and wait for it to get closer to one of my orders. ES's newfound weakness is continuing to do just that, be weak. It's not looking as good anymore. Looks like the second hour is doing what the second hour does. Was a fantastic entry though. Looks like it's going to stop out. NQ didn't even make a lower low yet, so ES is probably going to drop a lot more just for that to happen. And then the only way this doesn't stop out is when NQ makes that lower low, NQ's got to go right back up, like all the way back up, which to me isn't very likely to happen. Yeah, it did not go right back up. Well, it was a great trade, but second hour strikes again. It's almost like it was expected. BenQ goes all the way back up. It's a pretty good long trade. It looks good for new low of day. It's not a trade that I can enter though. PT's way too close. So now it's going to be a bit before I have another trade. Able to get a better trend line. And the trend lines are okay. They're not great. The best trend line I'm going to get. If it happens to bounce hard and then come back down, I can take shorts to low of day. But really, the only other trade that has good odds of playing out is if we go all the way back up and I take longs to this high. But I would want NQ to sweep low of day before that happens. So if it misses, I'm not going to take it. Told you guys I'm not really taking those trades anymore. They're just not likely enough to play out during the second hour. Or it's the size of ES's candle in relation to NQ's candle. Pretty much break even on the day now because I did take a pre-market trade. I just took this one here. It was like it was this one here. Fairly small trade, so I'm very slightly red on the day. We'll see what happens after a sweep slow day. What's up, TCG? There's new low day, just as predicted. Well, now it can potentially go all the way back up. Yeah, the market's plenty volatile to make money, but it's not making any sense. If the market's that bearish, you're not going to see reversals that hard and that drastic. So I don't know what the market wants to do. That is a big volume spike. That is a reversal signal right there on NQ. That's the second reversal signal we got. Not as big of a reversal signal as this reversal candle was. But if we do put in a solid reversal signal, I'm still not going to trade it because if I were trading reversals, I should have got into this one. And that at least would have been a green trade. Obviously, my PT would have been up here, so I would have stopped out for a small win. But yeah, as far as the next PTs go, this is what I'm looking at. Look at this on NQ. We have practically a perfect double bottom on NQ. It's off by just one tick. Here, 386.75. Now we have a lot of demand in the way, so that's a big reversal candle right there on NQ. But this candle opened bearish. We have a lot of demand in the way before we get there. But just seeing that PT means, I mean, we could just kind of drop this entire session. This is a nice pivot here on ES. So if we put in bearish consolidation, even though we're in demand, I'll probably take shorts on whichever one's weaker. Looks like NQ is flipping weaker now. But I need oscillations. I need bare minimum one oscillation. And since it's in demand, I'm probably going to go with two oscillations. So if it gets one oscillation, I'm not going to be in. Unless it looks really nice and it's just playing to that ES pivot. Because that's the nearest one. But I'm going to want two oscillations because of how hard it already bounced. Speaking of Tommy, let's see what he's spamming me today. Bruce, can we still do the one-on-one you promised me so you can see where I'm at? He says, okay, here's my problem. When I have a losing trade, it's my only losing trade because I let it keep going down and down until it either reverses or blows my account. Too many times I have taken a stop loss just to see it reverse in my favor. Unlike colossal losses, anytime I have a green trade, I instantly trail the stop up to break even or in profit within like 5 ticks. And this leads to all my winning trades being minuscule because I get stopped early and never catch the real move. It's miserable. The epitome. So not the epitome. The epitome of what you don't want to be as a trader right there. He says he's done stopping out because every time he stops out, it reverses in his favor. So now he just holds losses until it reverses or it blows the account. That's a good strat. I should try that, huh, guys? How have you not blocked him? Because he's my entertainment. No matter how rough my day is, I can just go to my Tommy DMs and at least I'm not Tommy, right? All right. It's not looking like it's gonna bounce. Looks like it's just gonna get there. If this demand wasn't so heavy, I could enter shorts here, but I mean, it's super heavy demand. Like, there's nothing I can do. So we are getting really nice price action movement in the second hour, but nothing that I can trade. This was such a good trade here. Very unfortunate. And I did call the bottom here, didn't trade it. I guess today's not a reversal trading kind of day. Guys, I think NQ is going to get to my blue lines. Oh my gosh, this is bearish. I can't get in though. I cannot get in. Demand is too heavy. I cannot chase the downside. I need bearish consolidation. But I'm thinking NQ is going to get to 386.75. I think it's going to get to 386. And maybe even to this pivot. But what I'm thinking is if NQ works its way down here, I'm thinking it's going to do this. I can re-enter, then it's going to do that. But I'm actually thinking, even though it's far away, I'm totally thinking NQ can get here. In fact, you could take a really sketchy trade on a bounce, which I don't mind. Like, I don't mind taking a riskier trade, a more unorthodox trade, where if this bounce goes for another candle, I enter short somewhere down here or up here and play it all the way down. However, look where the stop loss is, though. The stop loss is fine, but if I stop out, I'm going to have to reverse and go into longs. That exposes me to two larger losses in a row. Within a very short period of time, I'd rather not do that. But yeah, this is a lot of bearish potential. But the thing is that green candle has a lot of volume. That is a clear reversal signal there. So we'll see. You could enter shorts on this red candle. It is technically invalidating the bounce. Now it's too early into the candle for me to enter. I did say I want multiple oscillations though. But with ES missing that pivot, I don't know. I might take the gamble. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's bearish. All right, I'll enter. I just need 9 more seconds. Do not make a lower low, por favor. And it did. I can't enter anymore. Damn it. 10-second rule screwed me there. My entry would have been here. Back to waiting. There's ES pivot hit. Now my only hope is it bounces. And for those of you who don't know, I have a rule that I only enter trades in the last 10 seconds of the candle. That drop happened right before the 10-second hit, so I missed out. Very unfortunate. Imagine it just gets right there to that pivot. It's gonna be a terrible time. I'm just calling out everything that happens, and I just don't make any money off of it. Yes, Missy. That's a bullish. That's a bullish, very bullish candlestick setup on ES. You got the volume spike, you got the pivot, you got the demand. That is bullish. However, I did write in my journal, missed NQ short at 9:01 due to 10-second rule. And the reason I write that is not that the 10-second rule is ever going to go away. That's locked in by now. Um, but if my psych starts deteriorating throughout this day, I know, okay, psych started deteriorating after I missed a good trade due to a rule that I had. You can work off that. You can grow off that. But also at the same time, I wrote it down and I'm waiting to put an X or a check because if it goes all the way back up, the 10-second rule actually saved me there because I would have stopped out if I would have been in short. It would have been a great entry. It would have been green for some time, but I would have stopped out. I don't think that's going to happen though. I am leaning bearish for 21,386 on NQ. It's still really far away, so it's not like I'm super bearish for it to get there, but it is a nice PT. And this is a lot of just bearish momentum. I do not think it's unlikely that it gets there. Uh, William, 21,367 is the target closest to that. Man, I'm 2 for 2 today, calling out reversals. Too bad I'm not trading them. If NQ goes down right here, I still can't enter. I needed to make a higher high. And like I said, guys, I just need multiple oscillations. I'm not... It's been too many times that just one oscillation was enough. So if we go back down, I'm going to need to come down, bounce again, and then go back down, and then I'll enter. I'm not going to enter on one oscillation. Too likely to stop out. You can do it if you want, but again, during the second hour, it's just been stop loss city. Like just a bunch of sweeps happen, and then what you expect to happen happens. That did sweep a higher high though on NQ. That's looking good for to go back down. That's bearish. Just gonna hang out on my phone until I have a trade that I can take. So this, you can enter shorts here if you want. I already made the decision. I'm not taking one oscillation trades, guys. They just stop out too often in the second hour. But that is technically enough for you to get in on that candle, just barely, because most of the 50% of the bounce was invalidated. Yeah, it was. For me, I'd want to go a little bit lower, but it looks like it's bouncing here, so it doesn't matter. So if we do sweep a higher high and then come down, then I'll enter. If we go down, I'm going to miss out. But if it does this, I have to enter there. And then if it stops me out, I'll give it one more attempt, and that's it. So I'll enter here. If I stop out, it does this. Last attempt, and that's it. I'm liking the amount of shorts that are pressing this down. I think that increases the likelihood. Like, that to me is more of a bullish selling wick that NQ just put in. Shorts to squeeze. Doesn't look like it's trying to squeeze those shorts out yet, though. But that indicates if it does bounce, it's going to bounce high enough to sweep that liquidity that I need. Nice job passing your evaluation, TCG. Oh, that looks good for a bounce on NQ. That looks very good. In combination with that last bullish selling wick in this candle. Hell, if you're into scalping on tiny time frames, that's a long entry right there. If the candle closes, the candle closed okay. Pretty likely that this candle's green. If it's not, that's surprising. There's a lot of shorts playing this right now. This should have blew right through the last selling wick high. This is where it should go. You know, watching this, if somehow it doesn't go up to where it's likely to go, and it does just kind of come down here, this is going to be a good reversal setup. Longs to here. That's another possibility. Because, yeah, it rejected before sweeping the high of this selling wick, so. That's a trade that I'm watching. That's a trade that I can take. But, you know, do I attack the reversal? Considering I called out the last two reversal candles in a row, what are the chances I call out it 3 in a row? Probably not very good. So for me, if it does this, I can enter roughly here and take it to this high. If it doesn't get low of day and gets up to here, that's a pretty decent long to take to this high. It's a much smaller trade. I will not take that trade, but it'll be pretty likely to get there. So let's see what it wants to do. Regardless, it's hard for me to believe that it's going to go down and stay down. Notice the higher volume on this NQ candle. Much higher volume than previously. You know, it looks like a lot of bearish volume coming in. All right, there's the lower low. If it invalidates this entire red candle, I'm in longs. But one oscillation strikes again. The one day that I don't enter one oscillation trades. So that dropped enough to where now I'm still looking like it's going to get to 386, but it's not doing it in a way that I can trade it yet. Not getting any high probability setups. Volume spike indicates a reversal, but that is not a reversal candle. So if it reverses, it depends how high it goes. If it goes all the way back up, this may be a trade that I take. Let's see. Yeah, that's really not a bad trade. That's a trade that I can take. Definitely risky though. I think I will give this trade a shot if it happens. I actually need to switch MNQ in case I do fail. Looks like it is happening. One more green candle, I'm in. I could try to do an entry there. But I'm not doing that. See, MNQ is a little messed up. This is 86.25 when in reality it's 75. This candle closes green. Probably gonna take my chance at take a chance at longs at previous high. My entry is gonna be roughly up here is what I want it to be. And I don't think that's a bad trade at all. Not the greatest risk reward, only 1.1, but I like it. I'm gonna have to wait another full candle now. NQ looks like it's flipping stronger than ES. Yeah, if this candle closes green enough, all the way up to where my entry is, I'm willing to take a stab at it. Got pretty good odds. Yeah, it didn't get high enough. I gotta wait one full another candle now. I feel like this candle's probably gonna be huge. Called it. It's almost like I just said this candle's probably gonna be huge. It's not technically huge yet, but I didn't want to enter this high. Gotta wait for the last 10 seconds though. Gotta do it. And that's a big selling wick. All right. That selling wick, most of it invalidates. I'm in. For now, I'm not. Now I can, but I'm going to wait a little longer. No. If the next handle opens green into that selling wick, I'll enter it early. That selling wick is too big of a red flag. Yeah, that's good enough for me. I put my order in. Oh, why did we not fill it? Why did we not fill it? Trade of 8, you're freaking selling me. Well, looks like I'll miss out on this trade. I gave it my best effort. Just another missed trade there. Lovely. It's gonna get right to PT. Damn, guys, I cannot get shit during this time of day. It's like I'm literally just cursed. If we pull back, even if we pull back right here, I'm willing to dip by it because I'm supposed to be in this trade right now. But it's not gonna. It's gonna get right to my PT. Yep, there it is, the PT. Fantastic trade. Just couldn't freaking fill it. Trade of 8, you freaking scammer. Well, I do not have another trade for a long time because if we come back down, I can't enter because it swept lower lows. I can enter longs if it goes all the way up here, but other than that, I can't really do anything. That pisses me off. My order got left in the dust, and it was a buy. I'd only bought the bid. I didn't even go under it at all. So my long entry is roughly, what was it, like right around here? If we consolidate before, then I'm willing to enter earlier, but this is pretty much a trade, so. Great TA though. I mean, I called it out. I pretty much called out everything today. Hell, even when I was in my trade, while it was still green, I said it looked terrible. And then when it started dropping, I called it stopping out before it happened. So price action is super readable, but just not able to make anything today. That's pretty annoying. Well, you guys, I'm just cursed during this hour of trading. But all right, I'm gonna hang out on my phone until I'm able to get into another trade. It's probably gonna be a while because if it goes down, unless it goes down in a very, very aggressive manner, like it's collapsing in on itself, then I can maybe take a stab. But the PT's forever away. Most likely, if it comes down, it's going to be temporary. So, really, the only thing I have is longs all the way up here. Not willing to enter that earlier. And yeah, I guess we'll just see. But that's 3 for 3. I've called out reversals, and 2 of them were kind of semi-permanent. No, it was not less than a 1-to-1, Swaggy. My order was right here. Here was PT. And then this was my stop loss. It's 1.4. Yeah, it was 1.3 to 1.4 restore. It was a great trade. Hopefully you guys took it because I wish I did. But that's most of the move invalidated. I'm even willing to get in early if it just breaks well over the 61.8. We'll see because I'm willing to enter this. Actually, no, I'm going to wait because it's still a pretty big trade anyways. I'm thinking it's pretty likely to start consolidating here at this spike in the volume profile. So I think this is the area where it's going to try to consolidate. Got in on the reversal candle. Nice. Very bullish. Man, we called it out perfectly. It's so annoying that I couldn't take it. And this trade that I called out that I didn't get to take, this one would have ended up being green as well. Because I tried filling right here. This was kind of the PT, but after low of day, it would have very likely, after it sweeps and then goes back down, very likely would have been adjusted to just go to low of day. Because I was bullish for it. All right, let's see if we consolidate here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to hop into longs after it's already ran hella. Which I'd rather not do. I'm going to hang on my phone until I'm able to get into this. Again, if it doesn't consolidate before I enter, it's very much so not unlikely to pull back and sweep my stop loss, but it is what it is. If this candle closes big enough, I'm in. Gotta wait till the last 10 seconds though. Jeez, was this 8 green candles in a row? 9. It's a 9th green candle in a row. Good lord. That's freaking bullish, guys. Good lord. I gotta wait for the last 10 seconds. Still got 12 more seconds so I can enter. So hopefully it puts in a little selling wick. That is very bullish. But like I've been saying, during this hour of price action, the big green candles are followed by red ones. That's a selling wick. I held off on my entry. I'm able to get in right here. My fingers on the trigger. I do like this red candle. I think this red candle is bullish with how small it's staying. Still avoiding entry. Now this red candle is big enough that I need to wait for it to invalidate, then I'll hop in. Sweet. Praise God. I almost just got baited in right there. Imagine after all I've been through today, just it doesn't put in that selling wick. I don't wait to enter and then I stop out immediately. Hilarious. It's pretty bullish, guys. This is a really bullish chart. I'm probably going to enter on this candle. I'm kind of hoping it stays down there because I think it's probably going to get another oscillation, but I can very much so enter on this candle. Just got to wait till the last 10 seconds. Yeah, look how nice that trend line is. It isn't quite perfect, but it's good enough. Coming up on the last 10 seconds. The only concern is that volume spike on that green candle, but I'm loving the way it's reacting to that red one. Gonna wait just a little bit longer. I may enter at the start of the next one. Very tempted to enter right now. It looks good. I like the way this candle opened up in the selling wick and invalidated it, but because of that volume spike, I'm trying to get another oscillation. And I can't tell if it wants to do it. I might just have to enter here because it just tried it just now and it invalidated. So we could just squeeze right back up. Or is ES flipping strong? Not really. That's good enough for me. Technically didn't follow the 10-second rule there. Oops. Doesn't matter. I'd be in anyways. But I will document that. Very, very slight little error. Okay, so my PT is very far away. Very far away. Very freaking far away. Jeez. I'll move my stop up as we go. Give this a 3.5 out of 5 TA. It's good. Not fantastic because it didn't put in a ton of consolidation, but it's fine. NQ is a bit stronger than ES right now. My PT's pretty subjective. I could just sell at this earliest one here. That's a strong possibility if ES beats it. I do like this PT quite a bit. It depends what the NQ chart looks like. You see what NQ looks like. Where's that level at on NQ? Because I go by the NQ chart. This trade is so dreaded. I drew this out before I even switched to micros. Like, I literally drew this trade out as it was dropping. So painful, guys. I'm so sick of getting scammed during the second hour. My analysis is flawless day in and day out. But somehow, some way, the last few days, or just this week in general, I've been finding a way to not get rich during the second hour. Because it's not even like price action's chopping. Like, this is great price action. Very predictable as well. Okay, where's this level at? On NQ. So 60475. 0475 is where it's at. It's another reversal candle there on NQ. Huge volume spike and a selling wick. That is something you do not want to see. It's not as big on MNQ, but that is a reversal signal right there. I can't sell though. If you want to sell, you can, but I can't. You're not concerned about that line? Which line, Missy? The trend line? No. Keep in mind, though, it does look like a big inverse head and shoulders. So that last candle was a reversal candle. If it pulls back, it looks great for a pretty large inverse head and shoulders. Unfortunately, it could very well sweep my stop because this collar is lower than the left one. Yet the inverse head and shoulders on the left still got to my stop loss currently is. So if it does put in inverse head and shoulders, and it's a perfectly proportional inverse head and shoulders, which I don't think it's very likely to be, it could sweep my stop perfectly and go back up. Hope that doesn't happen though. Very nice entry though. That was a very nice entry. How far did it go before it put in that? It went 150 ticks before it put in that reversal signal. Damn, this trade is huge. The market is moving. You guys could have just sold right there, and that's 150 ticks is more than my average green trade. Which means it's going to be painful if it comes all the way back down, but it is what it is. No. No. I don't have a nice trend line on ES. Yeah, I don't really have much for trend lines. See, if I had a perfect trend line somewhere, it would be very bullish, but can't really. I'll just draw these two. One of them is going to be correct. This one was very nice as well. All right, I'm going to hang out on my phone until something cool happens. Not seeing a big enough volume spike on this candle to indicate a reversal to the upside. It could do it. I wanted to see a much bigger volume spike on this candle. Because that doesn't happen, I think there's a good chance that it may come all the way down to here before it tries to reverse. And by then, it's too close to my stop loss to not think it's going to stop out. Been nailing the reversal calls today. Geez, that's was that 4 for 4 reversal calls here, 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 and here. Man, too bad I'm just not trading, just blindly trading my reversal signals. NQ got exactly to where I said it was gonna go. Volume's still not high enough. It looks like I'm gonna have a big green to red trade yet again. If this candle closed with a big buying wick, there's some hope though. That's actually pretty nice. There's hope. There's a solid amount of hope there. Very nice candle open too, and it did sweep these lows, which is why I put my stop loss down here. Even though it's kind of far away, doesn't mean it's going to go all the way back up, but that is nice. We'll see if it holds. It looks like it's not holding. We'll see. I might go back to hanging out on my phone. It's way too many shorts on NQ. Looks like it's still weaker than ES. If I entered ES, I'd be a little bit better off right now, not by much. But ES looks like it flipped way stronger on this candle, which is the opposite of what happened on my last long trade. So that's pretty unfortunate. Unfortunately, NQ is way too weak now. It was only very slightly weaker when I entered. Had much more potential upside, but just like the ES trade, it's that my previous ES trade, it's just not a lucky day. The opposite of a lucky day. Kind of sick of these unlucky days, just kind of going back to back like this. But I mean, the ESPT is still the earliest one is here, but realistically, this is the level that I'm looking for. Just these 3 lines here. This cluster of 3 lines. If it enters this is where I'm expecting it. It's pretty likely to get here. That's a lot of room for NQ to flip stronger or whatever. I'm thinking if ES does get all the way up to there, NQ's probably going to be here-ish. So there's still, even though it's weaker, there's still plenty of profits potential. My concern is, though, that if ES decides to sweep this high and dump, knock on wood, that's not gonna look very good. But NQ, I'm totally thinking NQ can catch up to ES strength wise. Maybe not all the way, but if this uptrend does continue, there's enough shorts in NQ to squeeze out, and we could recover some strength. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep hanging on my phone. There's nothing to think or do right now. Once we get to this, if we get to this high on NQ, then I'll have to pay close attention because then I can sell really at any point. Because by then I'm past the 1-to-1 risk to reward, and I can think about that. But for now, I'm just gonna hang out on my phone. Yeshwanth, regarding the mentorship, it's not available yet. Um, so, like I said, that's probably gonna happen. My first announcement is probably going to be the first week of February, but I'm not even going to start taking signups till the end of February. So just sit tight on that for now, at least. Oh yes, Eski, it'll be extremely limited spots. Guys, NQ is so much weaker. What the hell? Getting freaking scammed. It was way stronger down here. Like NQ was way stronger down here. It's only when I enter a trade. Like even here, ES, the high of this selling wick didn't even break the high of this red candle. NQ selling wick broke the high of that red candle, so it was stronger. Not anymore, though. It's a nice potential trend line there. It's just 2 points though, so I'm not going to draw it. This trend line is the best trend line I have. This one's really nice on MNQ at least. It's not as good on NQ, but we'll see. ES is kind of just now getting to these trend line resistances. It's really starting to chop up. So this uptrend on ES seems to be weakening. I totally think it can re-strengthen, but I believe this VWAP area of ES and this trend line, this is going to be an issue. I don't think we're going to get over this easily. Now, NQ is a confirmed inverse head and shoulders, and really the neckline for this inverse head and shoulders is this here, and I'll draw it, but this is the neckline for the inverse head and shoulders. I'm actually going to keep this trend line here. But you can see this is a inverse head and shoulders on NQ. And technically, the right shoulder is this wide. The inverse head and shoulders technically is big enough to produce this PT, but that's the potential. I never go to a pattern's full potential like that. As far as head and shoulders are concerned, I never do it. Because head and shoulders turn into falling wedges, inverse head and shoulders turn into rising wedges. I think it's fairly uncommon that they go to their full potential. I would say it's less than 50% of the time. Obviously, more than 50% of the time, they result in bullishness, right? And that's also another thing about this trade is like the last inverse head and shoulders didn't work out. We didn't have one work out yesterday as well. What are the chances this one doesn't work out on top of those? So we shall see. But if you want to take profits, it's oops, that would have been very bad. If you want to take profits, the high of that selling wick is not bad. It's 150 ticks, 1.2 risk to reward. But that's just not what I'm looking for. I want ES to start just entering this area of liquidity. I'm honestly fine selling it early. I'll have to see, because I can very well sell this thing early. But, if it pulls back now before making this high and does something like this and puts in a pennant, well, now I'm going to be bullish for it to get to here. So we'll see. Looks like this is a very, very nice trend line, though. I keep my mic muted until something interesting happens. Guys, ES is weaker than ES is a lot stronger than NQ, but I'd be up the exact same amount if I were in ES. I forgot about that. That's also why I entered NQ, because it was ever so slightly weaker at the moment of entering, but it was stronger during the initial uptrend, and NQ had much more upside potential. All right, I said we may have issues with this trend line on ES. Here's the first minor pivot that we could have issues with. I'm going to mark them all out on NQ. I honestly want to sell because I feel like it's too likely to, I feel like it's way too likely to consolidate. Yeah, I sold it. I don't care. Too likely to consolidate. God forbid if it pulls back. I would like to re-enter, but you guys can hold it if you want to that final PT. Totally up to you. But that was still 210 ticks, and I'm back to very bright green on the day. This candle looks like it's actually closing a lot better than I expected it to. Looks like it's going to get to this next one. That was a very nice candle close. You guys don't need to sell. Regardless of what happens, I will document it though. So if it ends up keep going up, I'll put an X by my sell. It doesn't matter. For me, it's like 210 ticks. ES is in that area of resistance. I just think it's pretty likely to pull back here. I'm not willing to sit through another pullback. I would like to re-enter longs if it pulls back. Should be a much more green day, guys. I'm still really annoyed. Like, I can't, like, this order not filling, this order not filling, just so much potential. I called every. There has not been a single reversal that has happened where I didn't say it looks like it wanted to reverse. I called it here, 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 and here. And it's not like I'm calling reversals the whole time. I didn't say it anywhere else. I only said it there, so. Man, NQ ended up flipping strongs after I exited the trade, but it is strong now. I'm still bullish for this level and then this level up here. My idea was that ES would have trouble once it hits this pivot, and that is correct, but now NQ flipped very strong. So I put an X by that sell in NQ. I didn't need to sell early there. Still not a bad sell. I mean, it, went plenty high up, but there's the final PT. So those you held to the final PT, you made some extra money there. And technically all the way up here is the final PT. And it has invalidated a vast majority of the entire drop, so now leaning bullish to new high of day is not unlike, like, I'm starting to be bullish for new high of day on ES. We did miss this pivot here on ES. Doesn't look bad to continue running. So looks like bullish consolidations. I'm going to trade those. Especially if the bullish consolidation happens now before this high. Before this one here. Nice job, Chris. So annoying, guys. I should be up so much more money. Like, the only thing I manually did that hurt me was selling that trade early, but that's not much extra. Like, what is that? What I miss out on? Let me see. Sold pretty much here. The extra PT would have been here. Missed out on like an extra $100 something change. It's not a big deal. If we pull back enough, I'd love to enter longs. But I need multiple oscillations. I'm not just getting in on a pullback. Plus, look at the volume spike there. The last time we had a volume spike and I called it looked okay for a reversal, this happened and it did reverse. This one doesn't look as okay for reversal because it didn't get a reversal candle, just the volume spike. So I'm not going to say it's going to reverse or anything like that, but that volume spike is a minor indication of that. That's very bullish on NQ. Looks very good to continue up to my nearest blue line. Folks, it's bullish to this blue line up here. Told you guys this setup was bullish here, and it was. Yeah, that's bullish, guys. Very heavy demand. Like, look how good the indicator plays out, and that's the thing. I was starting to lean bearish for this line, but you see the way it just bounced down after it failed to sweep these higher highs again here. That's why I flipped bullish if it sweeps low of day. Very good analysis today. It kills me. I should be up so much more money this week. Absolutely brutal. Sick of it. I'm gonna go on strike. But anyways, I'm hoping that NQ sweeps this pivot or gets a supply, and we get something that I can enter. And the game plan is the PT is so infinitely far away, like further away than any PT I've really taken with you guys. Actually, it's pretty much at the record. The record's like 76, 78 ticks on ES I've taken with you guys. I'm going to be looking for something where I can, something like this, I enter. This is my stop loss. If I get scammed, I get scammed. Oh well. And then as it goes up, I'm just going to move my stop loss up. And then once it gets to roughly here, I'll move my stop loss to like here, and then the rest of the way. Worst case scenario, I stop out for a very small green trade, which would suck. But that's what I'm looking for to happen. So that's my game plan at the moment. There's nothing else to do or take right now. Even if we just keep going straight up, I mean, you can take longs, all the way up here, and I'll have pretty dang good odds to get there. But that's not really a trade I can take. So that's what I'll be watching for. So I'm gonna keep hanging out my phone and just kind of see what happens. By the way, pretty much most of this move happened in the third hour. Third hour solid, guys. Second hour was good today too. It's just I just keep being unlucky with my fills and whatnot. How come you chose your stop loss where you did? Yeah, that's a terrible stop loss, FEMA. I said it during this. I said, this is an area of liquidity. It may want to target this area of liquidity. So I'll put my stop loss under it. I'm not willing to put my stop loss more than 120 ticks. I'm not willing to put my stop loss more than my average green trade unless the PT is very, very far away. In that case, it kind of was. But it was still like, what, a 1.8, a 1.7 restore, something like that. But also look at the inverse head and shoulders, dude. This this left shoulder's this. That means that right shoulder can be this. So if it's perfectly proportional, it's going to sweep my stop loss and go back up. However, because it's super heavy demand, I hypothesize that it's not going to be perfectly proportional. It's probably going to put in an inverse head and shoulders. And if that's the case, it's probably going to sweep a mixture of this minor pivot with the second demand and then go up, which is why I put my stop loss a decent amount below that. And it just so happened that I finally stopped being unlucky and it worked out. That's pretty damn bullish on NQ. I'm even willing to enter longs if we go right back up because I know NQ is going to get to... I know with 98% certainty, I could very strongly hypothesize that if NQ gets back up to here, it's going to go to supply. Look how it barely missed this pivot. But this is MNQ though. I almost forgot. Let's check NQ and see if that's the case. If that's not the case on NQ, scratch everything I just said. It is the case on NQ as well. Except NQ, I go by, I keep forgetting. Because I usually keep it on the, I'm going to keep the NQ chart up for now. Because I'm probably not going to enter MNQ. Probably going to enter ES. It rejected supply. Look at supply and demand, guys. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. So good. But all right, it's going to be a while before I can enter a trade. You can enter NQ. You can enter NQ longs if it gets to here. With supply there, I think it's way too likely to stop out. It's way too likely to get another oscillation. So for me, 2 oscillations or I'm not getting in. So it's going to be a while before I can enter a trade. I'm going to hang out on my phone more and wait. Bree said there's supply on ES. Yeah, there might be. Yep, ES rejected supply as well. Yeah, you have to check that. The 1 minute doesn't update as fast. There's a lot of candles in the 1 minute. But here's a supply that we just rejected on ES. But look at the 30-minute chart. It looks pretty bullish, guys. I might just dip by it. That 30-minute chart looks pretty bullish. So does the 15-minute. I'm going to... I mean, yeah, you can enter longs here. And the stop loss will be way down here. Because I already committed to 2 oscillations, I'm not going to do that. Because you know what? If I enter this trade and it ends up stopping out and putting in 2 oscillations, I'm going to look like an idiot because I knew to wait for 2 oscillations. So I'm not willing to take a loss on a 1 oscillation trade. So I'm going to wait. I need 2 oscillations plus, and then I'll take a stab at longs again. ES is still a lot stronger. If you guys think it's only going to be 1 oscillation, you can enter. Your entry will be roughly here. To me, it looks like NQ is trying to put in bearish consolidation at the moment. So I wouldn't think it's unlikely that NQ does something like this. Boom. So I'm sticking to my 2 oscillation rule. I'm not willing to take a loss on chasing a 1 oscillation trade because I don't want to miss out. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to continue sitting on the sidelines. But this does look like bearish consolidation on the NASDAQ at the moment. So now I can technically get in, even though that doesn't really count as an NQ oscillation. Now if I enter, it's like, okay, that's kind of valid. Now you could enter on this candle. This is a reversal candle on an ES. If it closes, up here. I was kind of hoping to enter up here. And I mean, yeah, I can enter. Low probability though. It is definitely a low probability trade because of the risk to reward. But it'll become a 100% guaranteed trade if we can get to here. I don't think it's very unlikely that we can get to here. So if this candle closes right, I think I'm going to take entry. That's pretty much a falling wedge. I did wait. This bounce didn't get as high as I wanted to, which hurts the odds of the trade. If that bounce got higher, much higher, and then we came all the way down, and then we came all the way back up, that would look much better. But I'm not really willing to sit out that far because NQ still missed that pivot here, and I'm bullish for it to get to that pivot. So if it gets to my entry, I'll take entry. If it gets to my entry area, I'll hop in, and I guess we'll just kind of see what happens. I need one more green candle. Small green candle. If it goes down, that's fine too. I would love it if it just dumps right now. Because then if it comes back up, it'll even be more likely if it makes that lower low. Swaggy says, hey, I'm right on the same day in the week consecutively for the past. Swaggy, I would assume that's not a TA thing, dude. He asked for those of you in YouTube, Swaggy asked, if I'm red on the same day of the week consecutively for the past 4 weeks. What day is that, Swaggy? Tell me. Is that like Tuesday? Or Wednesday or something? Wednesday? I think that's a psych thing, dude. Your first 2 days of the week, what has it been? Has it been green? You're green every other day? I think that's just a psych thing, dude. Yeah, you're in the middle of the week. Your psych has deteriorated. I would assume that you probably reset your psych on Wednesdays after the red day, right? So I think your psychology may have a 2 day. Your battery has like a 2 day lifetime. Yeah, yeah, I think that's what it is. So I think you're very lucky for having 4 green days a week. That's awesome. Your trading's working. I would start psych resetting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then psych reset Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then also psych reset on every day that you're green. NQ's flipping strong, guys, but I don't trust it. I will still be entering ES. I don't care. Actually, NQ's a lot stronger. Here's the last 10 seconds. I got to make a decision. NQ is a lot stronger now. We'll see how this candle closes. Closed okay. I still got to wait another green candle. If NQ flips a lot stronger, then I'm fine hopping in NQ instead. But I kind of didn't want to. I feel like it's a better trade if you just hop in NQ now and then just sell when it gets if it gets to here, because that's still far away. That's 170 ticks. Yeah, but Swaggy, psych reset on Tuesday and Thursday, then every day that you're red as well, and you'll be good to go. See how that goes and document it. It would be sweet if ES and NQ both made a lower low. That would look pretty good. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move my entry area up, most likely. Back to hanging out on my phone, because I'm no longer near my entry. Yeah, Swaggy. The psych reset, either the psych deterioration lesson, the psych reset lesson, or the how to elongate your newfound success lesson. All of those are good. I like the how to elongate your newfound success a little bit more. That's a nice dump. All right, if we come back up to even here, I'm in. Does look like it's probably going to be NQ that I enter if we come back up. This is a nice drop. This is good. This is good. This is really good price. And we missed this pivot here. This is good stuff, guys. This is really good stuff. And the reality is, if we come back up on NQ and we come back up to here, I'm probably going to take entry, and then this is just going to be my PT. Even though it could go a lot further, because this drop was very big, I think the odds of it getting all the way here now are pretty, very, very, very low, like pretty much zero. If it were really bullish, it would have done something like this and then go up. It did not do that, so that's what I'm waiting for. The reversal at the 61.8? Yeah, if it's at the 61.8, then the PT is the 61.8. I didn't even check that. ES was not. NQ might have been because it was lower. NQ did reverse the 61.8. Nice eye, Lopez. So yeah, NQ's bearish PT is here. This white line. That is NQ's bearish PT. I don't think it's very likely to get there though. But I mean, it was a combination of the 61.8 and supply on NQ that did it, and ES hit supply as well. Solid reversal area. I'm still, if it comes all the way back up though, I'm still willing to take this NQ long. It's a good one. I like it. It could put in a very fractal head and shoulders, which would suck. This is a potential morning star here. Never mind, this green candle is not nearly big enough. So I'm still watching for this. Otherwise, if the 61.8 rule plays out, this is it. For a short trade, I'm thinking if we come down to here, bounce, and then start heading down, I can take this short trade. It'll be kind of a head and shoulders. It'll be bearish to at least this pivot. Once it hits this pivot, stop loss at break even. PT is a 61.8. Boom. That's a very good trade as well. So I'm watching for a couple of things. See you later, Rikai. Yeah, watch that elongate your newfound success video. Well, that's a 61.8 prophecy playing out. All right. You could enter here. It did break the 38.2% fib. Tempted to, not willing to. Demand has been pretty strong. If we bounce, I would like to go short on a bounce. I think it's probably going to get to the 61.8. I think there's a very good chance. And again, for those that don't know, mostly the people in YouTube, the few people that are left, 61.8 rule, if it rejects the 61.8 retracement, it's likely to go 61.8% back the other direction. Oops. That is a reversal candle if I've ever seen one in demand with a huge buying wick and a volume spike. And it did break the 38.2%. And as you guys know, the 61.8 is the next PT after the 38.2%. But it's back over. I don't really know if that counts as retaining the I mean, it retained the 38.2%, but it broke it by a lot and almost went to the 50%. So I don't really think that counts as holding the 38.2%. Now, I'm really hoping this bounces a lot because if we come down to here, I can enter short. Hell, I might do it. That's not going to be super likely though. You guys know that this is pretty likely to do this. So I'm hoping it bounces a lot. Otherwise, if it bounces all the way back up, that was a solid enough reversal in demand. I'm still willing to take this long trade up here. But yeah, it's kind of happening. Damn. I'm going to have to enter shorts here. Really hope it goes up more. I need it to go up less than here, more than here. Need to do this. Boom. That's a nice enough drop. I'm going to enter it. I got 10 seconds left though. And if this doesn't work out, I'm never entering this trade again. Here's the last 8 seconds. 6. It's going to eat up that buying wick. Yeah, I took it. It's at 70, 97. If this trade doesn't work out, I'm not taking this trade again. Yeah, it's pretty aggressive because it didn't get down to where I wanted it to get down to. But at the time, it did invalidate most of the bounces. This is a pretty aggressive short trade. So if this doesn't work, it's going in the notes, never taking it again. Because that buying wick is a bit too big of a red flag. Stop loss there. Yeah, it's kind of doing what I expected it to do. That's the issue with those trades. After it puts in that big of a buying wick, it is just so likely to sweep that high. It's really not worth entering. So it looks like this is going to stop out now. Yeah, I need to document that. Looks like, unfortunately, NQ flipped way stronger than ES. So it looks like it's going to sweep my stop and probably come back down. Because I'm definitely still leaning bearish on it. But yeah, I'm never taking that trade again. That's kind of my last chance. I just don't take it often enough to have the stats, but I do now. Never taking shorts like that again. That close to the buying wick. It needs to... Gosh, this chart is very cluttered. Hang on. There's 61A at that. There. 850. Okay. I can remove this. Now let's throw this over here. Yeah. Bare minimum, after the reversal candle, it needs to at least sweep this high. If it works out now, I still... this would be a better candle to enter on because at least it swept a high. But yeah, plus you're including demand too. Not a huge fan of that entry. Not a huge fan. But now the question is, if I didn't enter there, would I enter on this candle at 1022? That's a tough one too because it still didn't sweep this high. So we'll see. This is very good for stats. Because typically I want it to sweep the high of this before it heads down, but there's been quite a few times where I didn't wait for it and it ended up playing out because it was that bearish. So, not sure. It looks like it's going to go for that high though. That last candle had a fairly nice close. I think it's pretty likely that this candle's green. But it would be a lot more likely if the red candle swept the low. The previous red candle did not do that. So I'm not sure. This has so many red flags, guys. I do not like this trade at all, actually. You can sell this trade at break even. I'm gonna let it play out. I do not like this trade at all. It doesn't look like a head and shoulders at all. It looks like it's chopping down in demand. Good lord. Yeah, it could still, like, there's hesitation. I don't sell trades break even or whatever if there's any hesitation, and I'm still hesitant, so I'm not. But we did just sweep the low of that red candle now. So now it looks like it's going to go for the high of that, my blue line. I'd be pretty surprised if it doesn't. There's a chance that it doesn't. But this is chopping down. Like this is a walking red flag right here. This is terrible. Not a fan. But I'm gonna write it out because it's still technically bearish. ES is totally a possible bear pennant. I just really wish that it did this before I entered. But regardless, I mean, this is my PT all the way down here, the 61.8. It's a far PT. But it's still too close to move my stop to break even. But if it hits this blue line, the stop is probably going to go to break even. Because right now my stop loss is up here. In fact, now it dropped enough. My stop loss is coming down to here. That's a much smaller. I'm much happier now. Much happier. It did just break it. Stop loss, break even. I hate break even stop losses because yesterday I had a break even stop loss that swept my break even and then went right back down like magic. It didn't even get to where I thought it was. But because this didn't put in the right shoulder stop loss at break even, but I would rather have the stop loss like up here. Doesn't matter though. Good trade. It's just I didn't like the trade. I think that my entry was lower probability than all my other entries for my trades. Not a huge fan. Just because it works out doesn't mean it was like great. Anyway, 61.8, that's a PT. Will it actually get there? I really hope so. I really hope it does get there. That'd be neat. But let me compare on NQ because I don't. Oh, wait, this is NQ. Good. And I would show the MNQ chart, but I already have the NQ chart out, and that's where my fib is. So we'll just roll with the NQ chart. Will the 61.8% rule play out? It's been a bit since I've traded a 61.8 trade with you guys successfully. I really like that this buying wick did not make a lower low on this small red candle. And there's a lower low. Let's see how much it bounces if it does bounce. I'm bracing for it. Because that is a bounce setup. Nope, looks like it's going to get to break even. That is a very clean reversal setup. Damn, that is very unfortunate. Great trade, though. Man, it's just during the lives, like I play 61.8 trades all the time by myself. It gets there, but I feel like lately the really big trades just barely miss PTs. And that's why I sold the really big NQ trade early, because it's been doing that. It's been missing PTs. But all my other trades, of course, that one's the one that didn't miss the final PT, but like all my trades this week are barely missing the big PTs before reversing sweeping stop losses. Gosh, this chart is very cluttered now. I think there's a solid 90% chance it stops out. I'm just waiting for it. Otherwise, the other trade I can take is up here. It's not that big of a deal. You can sell here, if you want. I'm gonna let the trade play out. I don't really care. I'm green on the day regardless. Regardless of what happens, I'm pretty green on the day. So just off that one NQ trade, it's frustrating. I should be way more green because missed this short trade and missed this long trade. 2 orders in a row that couldn't fill. I called out so much today that happened perfectly. Today really should have been a much brighter green day. And that irritates me because it's not often that I get that good of price action during the second hour. So I'm not happy with it, but it's better than a red day. I refuse to get my hopes up. I still think it's going to stop out. It's a pretty bullish buying wick. It's a very bullish buying wick, actually. I'm actually starting to think it can easily sweep my stop loss and come back down. Because just the fact that it came down after this reversal candle, that is surprising to me. I thought for sure it was going to keep going up. But just the fact that it came down after this reversal candle makes it seem like it's going to do this. And if that happens, so be it. It's just destiny. But that would be the second day in a row that my stop loss break even stop loss barely sweeps and goes right back down. Because yesterday I did that same thing, and man, that was painful yesterday. That was not a fun time. Glad you made money on that, Ramoth. It was a good trade. It was okay. It wasn't that good. Honestly, it wasn't a very good trade, guys. If I were to go back in time, this red candle entry, it still wasn't that great because it still misses high, but the next red candle would have gave me the same average. I would have been a little bit more patient, and it would have been a more sound trade. It kind of jumped the gun on. Like I said, even though it's green, I'm still not happy with the entry. It's not. That was not very sound. The only reason NQ can get to my PT right now is because it's weaker than ES, but they can go up so easily. Swaggy, see, that's the question, dude. I don't know. I probably not, because even though this trade, I mean, even if it gets all the way back to break even, I still consider this trade it worked out, right? This trade worked out. It went down. If it misses my PT barely and goes back up, whatever, it was a good trade. Stop at a break even, it worked. But even though this trade worked, it still bounced right after I entered. I see that all the time when like look on my right screen. If I get price action that maybe it does like this, and then it comes up like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes up like this. Literally what it did, and then it goes down like this. That's a lower low on NQ. That is very bullish. Very bullish. Now it looks like it's going to get to my break-even stop. Whenever it does this, it's so likely to either bounce right up right after or sweep the low then bounce. That is so bullish on the NASDAQ. So close. Looks like it's going to stop at a break even. I actually did move my stop loss very close to where price action is right now. So it'll stop out for a very small win. I moved it to this white line here. Impossible in my mind. It gets to that white line and doesn't continue to my break even. Because that's lower lows now with a volume spike, buying wicks all over, in heavy demand. That looks great for a bounce. The only way it doesn't, and again, the reason why I'm not just selling right now is because it's technically possible that we head back down because NQ is still weaker than ES and ES just swept this high. So it's possible ES puts in a bear flag and goes down. I find it very unlikely though. Like this is a reversal setup on NQ. But where this white line is where my stop loss is. So worst case scenario, I make a tiny bit. Of course, it still very much so sucks, but it is what it is. You know, it was up 140 ticks just to go all the way back up, which really sucks, but whatever. It's a pretty bullish candle open on NQ. Should be green here. Just kidding. I moved my stop loss back to break even. Let's leave it at that. Only because it tried putting in that selling wick there. There's still a chance that ES can sweep and go back down. There's technically a small chance that it could do this because of how many shorts are stepping in here, but still pretty likely to stop out. It's very rare that your shorts will survive this candlestick setup in demand as well. Heavy demand, mind you. Two demands, one of them a 4 hour. Man, I really wanted it to hit PT though because 61.8 rule. It's been a while since the 61.8 rule was played out, and I've actually traded it all the way to the 61.8. That is a perfect 61.8 rejection and supply too. That is beautiful. You could move your stop loss to even closer to here, but because NQ is weaker than ES and because I put in the selling, but I'm just gonna leave it at break even. Not gonna use up my psych battery screwing around with where my stop loss is. I refuse to get my hopes up, though. That's kind of my rule. Whenever it gets very close to my stop loss, doesn't matter where it goes after, I refuse to get my hopes up until the trade ends. But if I were a bear, I mean this is a call trade setup here. Like look at this candle. That is so bullish. That is so bullish. That's a long entry. Like that is a good entry for longs. I'm tempted to take longs on this candle. I really am. If the 61.8 wasn't below, I would take longs on this candle. If the candle closed a bullish engulfing like it just was. Oh yeah, I totally would. Yeah, if NQ hit the 61.8, I would take longs on that candle. So I give it like a 99% chance to go up. I sold it before it hit if it goes back down that is just unlucky, but I don't care. Imagine it does go back down. That would be hyper unlucky, but I couldn't. That last candle is simply too bullish. Way too bullish. But if we do go back down, I'm gonna re-enter. So I kind of hope that I'm surprised it's rejecting right now. I mean it's technically possible. No. If it goes back down, it's more likely to just enter the range and chop. Was a great trade though. I mean, it was up a ton. It sucks that my PTs kept missing just barely. But I'll leave it up for those of you that are still in with stop loss break even. Maybe there's a chance it goes down because it is a lot weaker than ES. Honestly, I kind of want to re-enter shorts if it continues going up because that's like this is bearish, guys, on NQ. It is a lot weaker than ES. I think if NQ gets to here and then comes back down, I think that's a good short. That, or if it somehow came all the way back up to here and then came down, that's a good short as well. NQ is like so surprisingly weaker than ES. This is crazy right now. Is ES just going to keep going vertical? And is that going to make NQ squeeze, or is NQ could actually get to PT? Like it is like way weaker than I thought it would be. It still looks like it's going to squeeze to the upside, but now it just looks like a rising wedge. Like it's going to look like a short entry if it goes up. Or it looks like it still looks like a good short, which is so impressive to me. If it swept this high, I would like to probably get back in shorts. It is so much weaker than I thought it would be. Good early sell on my part. Snagged a little bit of money. That's painful. Did not get the 61.8 rule, so we'll see. If it gets to here, I would like to potentially re-enter shorts if it sweeps this level for a bearish reversal trade. Otherwise, ES gets all the way up to here. It's a long trade. I would do it though. I would enter ES longs if it does this. We put in a little cup and handle or something that I consider it. But those are the shorts to squeeze out. I mean, this is just such a bullish setup right here. I thought this candle was going to happen way earlier than it did. But now it looks like the shorts finally squeezed out. Still limiting to 2 hours. Usually Chim can, but it depends on the day. Like today's moving so well, and I've taken a whopping 3 trades, even though I tried getting into way more. Today should be way more green than it is. Like it's actually really frustrating, but because the analysis has been so good. But I've barely taken any trades, and I got time to kill today, so. See, I'm expecting NQ to get to this high. And by the time it gets to that high, I'm going to start kind of leaning bullish on ES again, but not by much. After a short squeeze, I don't really know if I want it. If NQ kept chopping up, I would like to get back into shorts. Now ES did sweep this high, NQ did not. That's not good enough for me to get into shorts. Or maybe it is. That's bearish. Jeez. Looks like we're about to range. It looks like we're about to chop. I'm not going to get into anything here. I think we're going to put in a pennant. Something like this. And So for that reason, I actually think buying right here is not a bad buy if you're betting on the pennant to happen. I think it's fairly likely to happen. That is a bearish drop though. So it's looking like my break even stop may have screwed me again. I might just stop with the break even stops. Oh, it did exactly what I said it was going to do. If you bet on a bounce right there on my white line, you just made some nice little profits. Did anyone actually do that? Type in chat. Does anyone bet on the consolidation starting? Because it was pretty freaking obvious that we're probably going to start putting in a pennant. That was gorgeous, TA. Very nice. And if we keep putting in a pennant, I honestly think, is this a perfect trend line? No, it's not a perfect trend line. I think there's a pretty good chance. I'll cheat this trend line a little bit. I think there's a decent chance we break this pennant to the upside and then we go down afterwards. Only because this upside trend line is a little bit more touches, just barely. Um, I think we could totally go up and then come down. That's what I'm thinking is likely to happen. See if it happens. I mean, you could have taken a trade on that analysis too. I mean, you could have, I guess, entered right here and just bet that's going to break to the upside for a small trade. It's okay, Restore. This trade is elite though. Buying right here, expecting the consolidation, taking it all the way up to here. That's a good size trade. See if it gets a higher high. It looks like NQ flips stronger as well. But if we're gonna stay in this pennant, it's not gonna do the higher high. But because of demand, that's why I think it's fairly likely to put in that higher high. I guess we'll see. I love scrolling Instagram reels when I'm just waiting on analysis or a trade to play out. Just watch some dude with Down syndrome. This guy was picking on some kid with Down syndrome, so they started fighting. Down syndrome dude hits him with the gnarliest headbutt ever. Like that's you never who expects a headbutt to be like someone's first move out of nowhere? Not even in close range. And absolutely just rocked him. Priceless. I'm actually starting to think this can break to the upside and run. You see how many shorts are like entering this? You see the selling wick that just tried to get put in? It's holding the selling wick, but it bought a lot of the selling wick back up. It bought this red candle back up to leave behind a big buying wick. And this candle again starting off red. I mean, we could have a run on our hands here. And if we were traced back down, it's back to a bear pennant. But I still think the higher high is more likely right now. I think if anything, it's gonna put in the flag. All right, just hit the trend line. I can edit this trend line now. It's perfect. More shorts entering, another selling wick. This can run out of this pennant, guys. Like this could actually run out of this pennant. Like up, I'm starting to think it could easily get to here. This was the prediction. It would make the higher high. That was the base prediction, but now this it looks like very high probability. Shorts are still stepping in and they're still getting invalidated. Trying to put in another selling wick here. The thing is, though, if it puts in a selling wick on every candle, it's going to dump. Like, there's not unlimited buyers. That's the issue. So if it holds this selling wick and the next candle's green, I think that's enough to break out. Uh, if it holds this selling wick and the next candle's red, I think we're going to pull back. It's trying to invalidate again. Yeah, guys, this is freaking run potential here. Did it just make the higher high? Did it? Perfect double top on NQ. Would you look at that? It's very illegal. It's not the biggest deal because it's pretty close together, but it's close enough. ES double top too. So if it dumps back down, I would dip buy it. Yes, they are Esky. I really want NQ to make a higher high because then that means I just completed like a beautiful chain of predictions. Because I said roughly here, it looks like we're going to consolidate and put in a pennant. And then I drew right here, this would be a good dip buy here if you're going to bet on the pennant to happen. And then I predicted that I would make a higher high and break to the upside. So like that would be a gorgeous chain of predictions. But NQ is actually flipping, is back to being weak, and ES just made a higher high. So we do have a possible rising wedge on ES that could leave this perfect double top on NQ intact. For now, at least. That's also a perfect trend line on ES. Maybe if NQ breaks to the upside, it'll be temporary. Looks good on NQ to make that higher high. And maybe even get to my white. I don't know about this white line anymore because NQ is still a lot weaker. And ES is signaling that it wants to pull back, even though it's stronger. So I'm starting to think if it breaks to the upside and breaks the perfect double top, especially if it gets to this white line, I think it's probably going to reverse back to the downside, up somewhere down here. I think that's pretty freaking likely. And that would be crazy because that would be like 4 super accurate predictions in a row. But NQ's really not liking that double top. Nor is ES liking that top rising wedge trend line. Looks like it's going to break now. You know what? If this breaks, it might, even though NQ is a lot weaker, if it breaks, it might actually run the how many selling wicks is putting in. That's a lot more shorts to invalidate right there. I think this is still these 2 blue lines I'm about to draw are still a possibility. This one and this one. All right, so there's the break, just as predicted. Type in chat if you guys took any of these predictions. Like these are more minor predictions, but TA today is so nice, man. So nice. Took a scalp. Nice job, Ty work. I don't want to stick around. I want to see if we do head back down after sweeping these levels here. This is what I would call another bullish selling wick here at 10:56 my time, 12:56 Eastern. Or yeah, I have a very hard time seeing ES go all the way back up because technically I'm supposed to be bullish because it did invalidate most of the drop, but like, is it really gonna do that though? Like really? I don't know about that. Bottom trend line to this huge compression is uh shallower than the top one. Actually, maybe not. I like that bottom trend line though. I would like NQ shorts, but I wanted it to get to this high. Nice job, TCG. Glad you're green. Did you get where I wanted it to go? It did get to where I wanted it to go. So this is a rejection area on NQ. I think it's got a pretty good chance of rejecting here and heading back down. That's a nice reversal candle. I took a chance on a small reversal trade there on NQ. I can't really pass it up. The loss will be really small if I stop out, so it's not really a big deal. Um, but it got right to where I said it was going to go. I mean, it didn't sweep this high, which would have been ideal. But it swept this high, put in a reversal candle and a volume spike, and it's weaker than ES. So I took a small gamble at it. Maybe the 61.8, you know, maybe the 61.8 still plays out. I don't think it's very unlikely. I'm putting my BT at the 61.8. I still want it to play out because the 78.6 rule is a rule that's the same as the 61.8, except it says it blows through the rest of the fibs. Nothing about the 61.8 says it needs to get straight there. You know, it can get close, bounce hard, and then come back down. Um, so maybe that's just the hopium in me, just wanting to see that rule play out. But my stop loss was a sell order. That's not good. Oh well, it was good while it lasted. That's a nice reversal candle and setup on NQ. It looks like it is going to go for this second blue line here. You know, and I was really thinking ES is going to reject this trend line. But with NQ flipping super strong after a solid ass reversal candle and a solid response to that reversal candle, maybe ES doesn't reject that trend line and maybe it does kind of cruise on upwards. Not sure. My stop loss is set to be a very, very small loss. And the reason why I would just stop out there is because ES just now touched the trend line, and my hypothesis was that it would reject the trend line. And also, I'm kind of seeing like a very small, delete this, inverse head and shoulders here. I'm sorry, not inverse, kind of a regular head and shoulders here on ES. I think it's kind of possible. But obviously, it's a very low probability trade because the risk to award is crazy. Yeah, 5.6 risk to award. And it's getting another massive buying wick. Yeah, you can sell right here if you want to for a very small gain. But that is bullish as hell. Oh my god. I'm gonna let it play out though. I don't care. That was a very bullish buying wick and the with a lower low in demand, but you guys could technically still reject the trend line. So I'm just gonna hang out in this very small trade and See what happens. It's a small trade that could turn into a big one. And Yuki, I agree with that, dude. If we do, fingers crossed, but if we do manage to drop a lot, I think a long setup would be very nice. I think it would be very nice. I don't know. These buying wicks on NQ looks like it wants to go up, though. Doesn't look like it wants to drop. Neither does ES, but no way it put in another massive buying wick. Now it's near guaranteed to stop out. Oh my gosh. So much potential gone out the window. Fair enough. It's just like that sometimes. I guess ES is just going to keep squeezing on up. Yet another green to red trade. I'm not catching a break lately. I still think ES is going to pull back. I still think NQ set up for a drop, but it's looking like that ES pullback ain't going to happen until up here. Because NQ is pretty damn bullish. Like those buying wicks in demand, very, very bullish candles. I just sold on this red candle for break even. Missed my stop loss by like a razor hair and then came back down to break even. After a candle like that, I sold it at break even. Imagine it does end up going right back down though. That would be crazy. And you know what? I did not expect this candle to be this large. It could. It technically could. Yeah, it could. It's I mean I only say it could because ES real like I really expect ES to pull back, but at the same time I really expect NQ to get to here. Looks like NQ's gonna get there. It did get there. All right, good. Good stop loss. Good break even stop loss. Yeah, those buying wicks were very, very bullish. Now it looks like ES may just it might just keep drifting upwards. It's a proper break. That's bullish volume on ES too. We may end up continuing to the upside, and I wouldn't doubt if NQ end up flipping strong. Hell, it doesn't look bad for N because remember NQ missed this pivot all the way up here. It does not look bad for NQ to finally get to that pivot. It does not look bad at all. I'm starting to think that could happen, which will put ES pretty high, but I think NQ is likely to flip strong and head upwards. I'll hang out for a bit. I'll see if that happens, but I'm mostly just going to kind of hang out on my phone. If it gets close to it and then consolidates or something, I'll probably take that trade. Otherwise, I'll just kind of stay on the sidelines. Do you think 589 on NQ? Um, if it gets to 589, I'm bullish on NQ to 626 to break. It's a very, very, very nice pivot. But I'm hypothesizing that NQ is going to flip stronger than ES. Because it's been chopping up as bearish, but the longer you chop up slowly, the more bullish it becomes. And NQ's been chopping up long enough for it to start flipping bullish. We'll see. I'll hang out because roughly right around here would be the I'd want to enter. Oh, I mean, I could enter all the way down here, but the trade would just be so large. And this would be my stop loss. Roughly 1.6 stop loss. That's not bad. I would want multiple oscillations though, so more than likely I'm going to probably enter somewhere up here for it. And then go like that. Not a very good risk to reward, but I'd say has a pretty high probability considering how nice that pivot is. This isn't a very nice trend line either. I'll hang it on my phone and wait. It looks like NQ is going to take a very long time to get there. It's a lot weaker than ES, like way weaker than I was thinking it would flip strong by now. It hasn't. I'm really not willing to take long on ES. Um, I'll wait like a couple more minutes because after that buying wick, that could have been enough for NQ to flip strong. It's not looking like it though. So I'll wait a couple more minutes. If that's it, I'll just kind of lock in the green day and peace out. So I'll see what happens. I'll only hang out for a couple more minutes unless we start shooting up. If that happens, I may take one more trade. All right, well, looks like price action's moving a bit too slow. I'd still like NQ to get to those that big pivot all the way up there. It's just a lot. It is a lot weaker than ES, and I don't know how long it's going to stay that way. I think it can kind of flip strong at any time, but aside from the very last candle that formed, I've got no indications of that whatsoever. So probably just going to call it here. Long session, but at least it was a green day. So it was pretty good. Very good price action during the second hour. Should have been way more green. I mean, I missed out on multiple nice green trades because my orders literally didn't fill. So that was pretty freaking frustrating. So even though I should have been a lot more green, I'm still happy with today's price action and the TA as well. I mean, us calling out me calling out the incoming compression, then it happening perfectly, then even predicting which way it was going to break. Even the reversal trade that I had right here that I ended up stopping at break even, I mean, that was a great reversal trade, and it did pull back very nicely after I entered, so it's a pretty good day. But all right, well, I will see you people later. I've been live for 3 hours now, so I still plan on doing a lesson right around market close ish. We'll watch one together, and then we'll wrap it up today. Also, we're gonna do the trade review as well. All right, I'll see you guys later. Congrats on the green, and good luck if you continue trading.